We're outside today eating Kharcho. It's a hearty soup in Eastern Europe. I think the origins are from Georgia, and we made it at home, but we just took it outside to eat on a beautiful Easter day. And so soup Kharcho is very popular amongst Eastern Europeans. And it's not just Georgians who eat it. In fact, it's a staple of sort of childhood memories that we have. And it's sort of very delicious, hearty broth soup with lamb or beef or both, with a lot of spices and a nice sour kick to it. So first off, you take about a kilo and a half of lamb or beef, and you boil that for about an hour or so, and then you add your celery, carrots, and onions. Boil that for another half an hour to get this really beautiful bone broth. The meat that you're using, you really want to get the bones, the bone marrow, the fat, everything. Don't cut or go on the lean side, because as you know, for bone broth, the fatter it is, the more delicious it is. And then you're going to pull out the meat anyway, so you're going to sort through any fat or bones, and you're going to cut those off and shave off and put just the pure meat inside. At this step, I completely forgot to put the sour plums, so I will end up putting them and then boil for another time. But the best approach, of course, is to add sour plums as well when you add all the veggies. Now, you may ask, why sour plums? So Kharcho, the acidity from it traditionally comes from Tkemali or sour plums. Now, those are quite hard to get here, but unless you're sort of in Georgia or Russia or some other Eastern European countries, but they do have Tkemali sauce, and that's what we recommend you get. I will show it in a bit for you how it looks. It's just very sour, early types of plums that haven't matured yet. And these are the plums I've added. They've added a bit of acidity, but not too much. You also want to add black pepper. You want to add some bay leaves, and let it sort of steam and boil to get all the flavors in as well in here. While that's taken care of, you want to create zazharka, or basically onions which you fry, and then you're going to add some tomatoes as well, so you have your onions golden with a little bit of olive oil. You add some garlic. You really want to be quite heavy on garlic because it'll give a nice flavor to it. Some tomatoes. I ran out of tomatoes. This is the only tomato I found in the fridge. I completely forget to get a new one, but that's okay. You can add tomato paste, crushed tomatoes, whatever sort of tomatoes you have, to add a bit of that acidity and kick to it, so it's not sort of a flat, flavored soup. One thing I will tell you, one year I couldn't find neither Tkemali nor sort of sour plums or anything. Oh yes, you need the nuts, the walnuts, of course, as well, that you want to add in there. And I used tomatoes and lemon juice, and that will work out just fine too. It might not give as much sour kick to it, more acidic than sour, but that's all right too. So you make this zazharka with oreshki or nuts, walnuts. You use walnuts, you crush them. You add some spices. My parents went to India recently, and they brought delicious spices. Oh my goodness, their spices are so flavorful when they're fresh. And then you want to also add Kharcho spices, which you can get at any Eastern European store, like a Russian one or Ukrainian or Georgian, or maybe Afghan, but I'm not sure. Khmeli-tsuneli is another spice. I will take a photo of it just shortly after, you'll see. And once your plums sort of boil and add that acidic flavor a little bit, you want to pull them out. You already see the bone broth is so yum at this point. It's really beautiful. You add your zazharka with the fried vegetables with nuts in here and mix it a little bit. So these are the spices I added: adjika, and then Tkemali, khmeli-tsuneli, and then Kharcho. So adjika, if I check what it is, it says here you have some vinegar, some coriander, some pepper, garlic, and all those good spices, and a bunch of herbs. And Tkemali, I think it's just those sour garlic and sour plums. Alcha is another name for it, if you know. Kharcho is a bunch of spices as well: carrots, tomatoes, red pepper, onion, garlic, coriander, tomato paste, paprika, all the herbs, basil, so petrushka kinza, like the dill and the coriander and so forth. And khmeli-tsuneli is another addition to that. If you don't have much of these spices, just add whatever spices that you think will give you a hearty dish that you like. The more the merrier. At the end of the day, you can't really overkill it with the sauces or the spices because you can always add a bit of water. In fact, I do recommend you add water at the end, no matter what, because a lot of bone broth will evaporate while you're boiling it, and when you pull out the meat and everything, it'll be like less than half of the water you've originally had, or the liquid. Lastly, add your rice, about 100 to 150 grams, just a little bit. It will swell when you sort of boil it, and no need for more. And then you could see the beautiful color at this point. Oh, this was so delicious. I'm craving more of it now because I'm doing the video a few days after we finished eating it, and I'm ready to make a new one. My husband absolutely loves this, and my whole family devours this with my dad. You add those spices and you let the soup stay. In fact, I find the next morning it's even more flavorful than I guess the night before, because it just stands there and all the juices sort of soak up to the meat and the broth. So a wonderful soup. I highly recommend you, if you're ever in the area where there's Eastern European shop and you've never tried it, go get these ingredients: Tbsp Tkemali, Kharcho, khmeli-tsuneli, and give it a try. You will not regret it. The meat, actually, we got at a local Afghan store, and I find for these kinds of dishes, you really want to go and get like a flavorful local meat, because or like a maybe kosher meat or halal, because the locals somehow source meat that's more flavorful than often what you get in big commercial stores. So it will make a difference to you. The flavor of the meat, especially the lamb, will be very different. Well, this is it. You put the meat back and you let it sit for a little bit, and then you go and enjoy it with your family. And have a wonderful day. Bye.